It's Wake Up World's Grand Finals preview. The historic LCK and LPL rivalry comes to a head today at Worlds 2020. The LCK's Damwon Gaming will face the LPL's Suning Gaming for the Summoners Cup. We'll give our predictions and analysis before the match starts. Plus, a look back at the past decade of Worlds Finals.
Bin for the knockup. Doug puts him away. Looks for the re-engage on the backline. They've shut down Jackie Love. Bin doing the heavy lifting. Can he do the rest? He puts the team into it. Knight flashes the way to the wrong side of the map. And a shockwave is not going to do it. Suning mount the comeback. Knockups even more. Here comes the call over the top as well. Is it enough damage? Bin wants another. And Jackie Love drops yet again. They find kill 2. They will find kill 3. Suning will not be stopped. They will not be denied their vengeance from the regular season.
He's going in on the Ghost. This is massive. Caps moving through the entire team. Wonder now in the midst of everything. The G2 are backing up. Mickey's just so incredibly pitchy. They do not have the gold. They do not have the damage. G2 are now getting run down. Canyon looking unstoppable. How about a little bit of Arda? 18 minutes and 30 seconds. And this is not the way that Europe expected it to go. The greatest team Europe has ever produced falling flat here in...
The World Championship Finals have arrived, and we're here to break it all down. It's Wake Up Worlds. Welcome one, welcome all to Wake Up Worlds, our ESPN ESPORTS Worlds program, our 24th show in 37 days, and it all comes down to today. The grand finals are upon us. He's Tyler. I'm Arda, and we have been with you every step of the way until a world champion is crowned, and we don't have to wait much longer as we find out in an hour or so when the festivities begin. And World's Finals is here. Pudong Stadium, thousands in attendance, millions wanted to be there, but one champion, Tyler, will be crowned. And I gotta tell you, I've been following social media all morning. I've been letting the anticipation seep in, and yes, it's sad that we can't be there. It's sad that we have to socially distance. But I got to tell you, I still got that championship feel. I still got those goosebumps. I'm ready.
I have the goosebumps. It's hard. It really is hard. It didn't really hit me today that I miss Worlds. Like, it didn't hit me until, like, it's Worlds Finals Day. Worlds Finals Day, I usually get to the, like, stadium arena, like, 6 hours early. I get there super early. I get lunch, hang out with the fans, talk to some people, get that atmosphere soaking in. Like, you walk up to the big stadium or arena, you hear the thunderous noise, you hear the chants outside, you see the cosplayers and the face-painted fans, and you just get those goosebumps of this is the World Championship, this is the World Finals. 100+ million will be tuning in today to watch the grand final of Suning versus Damwon Gaming. David versus Goliath, Arda, as we've said over and over again, a tale as old as time. Can David topple the giant of Damwon Gaming? Can Suning, which has gone at every turn, upset after upset after upset, can they pull off the final heist and get the Summoners Cup out of Pudong Stadium with the fans behind them?
Got Twitch chat pulled up. You got a question for Tyler or myself? You got a question for the show? Please throw it in there. We're going to be on the air here for about the next half hour or so as we get you ready and get you set for Worlds. The grand finals are finally here. Let's look back, Tyler. You've been to a bunch of them. I will say this. I know that you've been saying for the last while that you don't want a 3-0. Okay?
No.
You don't want a 3-0. You want a competitive final. So if you believe in superstition, the last final I attended live was 2016, and that was a 3-2.
3-2.
Okay?
Great final.
I missed the last 3, and they were 3-0s. So I'm not saying I'm any good luck charm, Tyler, but I am saying it's convenient that you and I are here covering this and the success that was there when we were there last time live. So just saying.
It could happen. I mean, it's really hard. Like, I really want to come in. I mean, I give that whole spiel of David versus Goliath, the Suning coming back, and it's nothing against Suning. They're a great team. They're a formidable team. They're exciting. They bring out the River Shen. They have Bean, who will play every attacking top laner there is. The man who does not know the shield, only a sword. We have Huang Feng's amazing story. We have Angel of Death in the mid lane, coming out of nowhere in the semifinals to take down Knight, our number one player going into Worlds. Sword Art coming in with Karsa's blessing, his best friend defeated in the semifinals, walking the road that he wished he could walk with him, but he has to walk it alone with Sunny today. Like, it's so many good stories. It's a Mighty Ducks movie. It's Angels in the Outfield. It's the Little Giants. It's that really uplifting story of an underdog versus the giant, Arda. But in my heart of hearts, I've been thinking about for the last week of how is this going to go? How is this going to go? And it goes to the same direction each time. It's a 3-0. Damwon will destroy Suning. They are going to destroy the underdog. It's just what I feel like. And maybe that's a good omen, because I have felt for the last few finals that would be much closer. I thought a 3-1, 3-2. This final, I really do think Damwon outclasses Suning. And I think this is Damwon's tournament. This is Damwon's meta. And I think after the World Finals is over, we're going to most likely talking about, is this the greatest team of all time? I do think if this goes the way I do think it might go, and a lot of people do think it might go, a lot of analysts think it will be a 3-0. The interesting part, even if it's not an interesting final, is the discussion of, are they the GOATs? And I think that will be a very interesting discussion, even if it's a 3-0 final and we come to our post show. I think that will be the leading storyline.
Very good point there, Tyler. We do have a post show after Worlds is concluded at 11 a.m. Eastern. We will be back live. And yes, some legend in chat. We are live right now, so we are monitoring chat. Before we get to the preview of Damwon versus Suning, let's talk a little bit about previous World Finals. In fact, Tyler, there was a question in the chat from Zaya RL, who no doubt is a Rocket League fan, probably watches Behind the Wheel here on the on our ESPN Esports channel, asks, what was your favorite, Tyler, final to see live?
Oh man, so to actually watch, it was 2016 Samsung versus SKT. To be in the arena for, to be in the stadium for, it has to either be 2017 or 2018, either in China, Beijing, the Bird's Nest 50,000 seat arena or stadium, the Dragon, obviously the famed 40 augmented Dragon, that was awesome. And then 2018 with the live performance of KDA's debut there out of nowhere, the big surprise of KDA, that whole spiel, the opening ceremony there with the moving platforms where you had Fnatic and IGs running into each other on these like elevated platforms, like it was the most anime thing of all time. I always had the perfect seat in the stadium to watch. So for me, here's the thing. All these memories are like opening ceremony things, which is really sad, right? Where the last big World Championships have been blowouts. And 2016 was definitely the most fun because it was a best of 5. It did go to all 5 games. But I think Bird's Nest is probably the one, like, when I'm like 70 years old, regaling my grandchildren of like, the days of the World Championship. And I'm sure I'll be going to many more in my career, in my life. And I'm sure hopefully all of them won't be 3-0s, but going to a stadium of 50,000 people, scalpers out the wazoo selling tickets for $2,000-$3,000 to get into the stadium, like that's a memory I'm never going to forget. So Bird's Nest sticks in my mind as clear as day. I still remember that day as it was yesterday.
And Pudong Stadium really has that opportunity to provide that kind of moment. And actually, I'm going to throw into the chat, in case you haven't seen it, Ran is currently at Pudong Stadium or got a picture from Pudong Stadium.
From Weibo,
there, from Weibo. So that is an image of the stage. If you haven't seen it yet, a little bit of a preview. Do you notice anything familiar, Tyler, in the middle of the stage? Or any likeness, perhaps?
The arches, the Damwon arches, baby. I mean, Suning could have the world song, all they like. Ocal tweeted this out that Suning might have the Heart of the Lion catch the theme song buff for them, but Damwon has the world stage buff. That is the Damwon arches on the center stage, and just seeing the stage, it's like such a bittersweet feeling, Art. It's like, oh, it's so awesome. Like it's a stadium final. There's nothing better than an open air stadium final for League of Legends. And You see that stage, you know there's going to be an amazing opening ceremony. There's going to be KDA. There's going to be, takeover. You're going to probably see the players flying from helicopters or some crazy, entrance, because they always go one step farther every single year at the World Championship. But, man, it's bittersweet. I want to be there so bad. It did not hit me until today. I was fine for the last, 30 or so episodes, but today, the World's Finals, I mean, at least it's only 6,000 fans are. At least there's 3 other million people also sad they're not there. So I can at least get solace in that.
So you were mentioning about how it's always something to look forward to, right? The opening ceremonies and what they do. I'm going to throw another link in the chat for everybody to have a read before the game begins after we're signed off here just under half an hour later. This is an oral history that all of us at ESPN Esports contributed on. And we also talk about some of the opening ceremonies most highlighted by 2017, as Tyler mentioned, with the AR Dragon coming into the stadium, etc. If you want some background on that and some major moments in world's history, definitely read that. One of the things that I mentioned, so I had the chance to interview Mark Merrill for that piece, and one of the things that I mentioned to him, and I think that you might agree with this, is that Riot shares a lot production-wise with WWE, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like World's
100%.
Final is like WrestleMania, right? Like they get very experimental. They try, cutting-edge production styles, and we could very well see some of that this year too.
Oh, 100%. I also think that the lack of fans, the lack of people in the arena gives them more space to work with. Obviously, I think they're going to probably hold their ace for next year with it being in China again, Shanghai Stadium, hoping to have 60,000 fans instead of 6,000. So I think the full shebang will be next year. But I think the Dragon will make a reappearance. Arda. I cannot. If there were odds on if I could bet will there be a Dragon in the opening performance, I would bet yes. The 4D Dragon will return from Beijing, flying over to Shanghai. It will make an appearance. That's the thing though. I'm slight the opening ceremony has kind of become its own looking forward to thing. I made a poll earlier today. It's what are you most excited for? Is it free agency? Is it the opening ceremony? Or is it the final itself? And the opening ceremony was pretty much tied with the actual final. People love the opening ceremony. And while we've had some dull finals, the opening ceremony year after year has always delivered. I don't think this year will be any different. The music department and just the special effects department at Riot is second to none. And I do agree with you. It is more WrestleMania than Super Bowl. And I love it. It's the Super Bowl plus WrestleMania into this futuristic esports world. And they nail it year after year.
So let's get to a preview. Before we get to the actual matchup itself, that being, of course, Damwon and Suning, let's talk about the regions and the rivalry between the regions, Tyler, the LPL and the LCK. This is the LPL and their dominance at Worlds for the past few years versus the LCK and their past dominance and their legacy and dynasty as a region. And now, finally, for the first time in 3 years, being able to return to the World's final stage. Now, the interesting thing is the LPL and the LCK have met twice before at Worlds, and the LCK have been the benefactors the last 2 times, but the last time was in 2014. So it's been a while since these 2 regions have met at the World's final. Since 2018, LPL teams are 12-11 against LCK teams compared to 12-36 before 2018. So when you look at it from a region perspective, Tyler, what do you make of the matchup?
It all kind of changed around that 2018 period. It was around, I believe, the 2017 or 2018 Rift Rivals. Rift Rivals is an event that we kind of scoff at now, kind of a thing that neither North America or Europe has ever really taken seriously. But China, South Korea, and Taiwan had their own Rift Rivals. And generally, it was an event that Korea dominated. Korea were the kings. They won every single tournament, every single international tournament. Going into that specific Rift Rivals, though, all the Chinese teams boot camped together. It was the first time every Chinese team kind of looked at each other. All the upper echelon Chinese teams looked at each other and said, let's help each other. Let's team up and defeat South Korea. Let's take them down. So what happened is all those teams, all 4 of those teams boot camped together, practiced together, And when the moment came for Rift Rivals, that was their shining moment where they got the victory, the dub over South Korea. And you could see the emotion on the Chinese players' faces of what it meant for the LPL to take down the LCK in Rift Rivals. Since then, the LPL has won 2 World Championships, but the final hasn't come from beating South Korea. It's usually been G2 taking out South Korea, or it's been North America in 2018 taking out South Korea. It's never been China to put the death knell to destroy their demon of South Korea. If you look at Weibo, if you look at a lot of Chinese fans, there's still that monkey on their shoulder. There's still that fear that South Korea is their boogeyman. And 2018 North America finished South Korea off. 2019 G2 finished South Korea off. 2020, if China wants to win their 3rd championship with their 3rd separate team, they're going to be the ones to eliminate South Korea from Worlds, and it's a daunting task because Damwon, as I said, could be one of the greatest teams of all time. And if they destroyed Suning today 3-0, there's a good argument they are the greatest of all time. So it's a lot, but I'm sure, as we talked about Suning, I would not be surprised if Chinese teams have been helping them prepare for this moment, because the LPL, over anything else, wants to beat the LCK. They want to fully destroy the LCK's resurgence, because if LCK wins today, that dynasty is back, and LPL is back to being number 2. And if that's not something no one in the LPL or China wants to hear, but it's true.
So then let's transition into the matchup, because that's a fascinating storyline, because the David versus Goliath is in the other side, right? Like, it's Damwon that is the Goliath in this situation. Yep. It is Suning that is David in this situation. So on many people's scorecards, Tyler, they have Damwon as the heavy favorites going into this, and that would mean a recoronation of the LCK as world's champions. But if Suning have that, the entire nation behind them, the entire region behind them, is that, it's almost as if that might not even be enough in this case.
No, you get all 3 million fans who put in their hopes to be in the 6,000 seat crowd. You could get every LPL team screaming with them. You could get everything possible. You could throw the kitchen sink at Damwon, and it might not be enough to take down Canyon. It might not be enough to take down Showmaker. Damwon is a team that's experienced. They're ready. They've been to Worlds. They've seen failure. They've learned from it. They've got that killer instinct. They can play various styles. They can play an oppressive constricting style like 2014 Samsung White. They can play the counter-punching style of 2015 SKT. They can play the barroom brawl tactics of 2018 IG. They can play the best style of the 3 best League of Legends world champions of all time. They can play all 3 of those styles, and they can do it as just as well as those 3 teams before them. And that's what makes Damwon so scary. They can beat you in almost every single way. They are not one-dimensional like some former world champions. They are a team, multifaceted, who have stars across the lineup and can beat you in every single possible way in the laning phase, in the mid game to the late game. They are the closest I've seen to the ultimate team, Arda, and it's scary to say. They've not mastered League of Legends, but this is possibly the greatest team I've ever seen play.
So let's go through it lane by lane, or matchup by matchup. If you were to say Suning's key to victory goes through this position or this lane, where would you point?
So I've put the stat on Twitter, and I think the stat kind of shows how dominant Damwon is. In their last 37 games, Arda, from LCK to Worlds, Damwon is 34-3. 34 wins, 3 losses. One of those was to JD Gaming in a game that did not matter. That was a blow-off game in the end of group stages when Damwon was already guaranteed number 1 seed. And another one was in that G2 series where they picked Fiora. And looking at those 3 losses, even if you want to say, maybe the JD game was a bit of a troll game, you look at the top lane and say, this is where Suning could get an advantage. And if they, not saying they could get an advantage, but if they want to win, they're going to have to find advantages in the top lane, because those 3 losses, the games that Damwon have lost in the last 37 games, it has come when Naguri has died very early on. If you can disrupt Naguri early on, you have a chance. If Naguri feels comfortable and he can get into that laning phase and he can actually farm, get his items, and not be bothered, it's over. You're not winning. You're looking at the stats. You do not win if you cannot disrupt Naguri at all. So for Bean, who's a very aggressive top laner, who's not going to handshake and gracefully lose, they're going to need to beat down Naguri today. They're going to have to make him sweat. If you can make him uncomfortable, you can get some topside skirmishes your way, SOFM, Bin, maybe there's a chance. That's the way that I'm looking at the top lane as a position where if Naguri has even a decent day, Damwon's winning this 3-0-3-1. They're going to have to make him tilt. They're going to have to make him very, very uncomfortable all day long if they want to win.
So to your point about First Bloods, Suning are second in the tournament in First Bloods, and Damwon are 11th. So Suning very apt to follow what we have seen at Worlds, the early ganks, the level 1 engages leading to First Bloods. So that's a storyline to watch for sure, particularly on the Suning side, because they have used that to success. We'll have to wait and see if that exactly happens against Damwon as well. And that could come at top lane, like you said.
Yes.
Maybe they will have early pressure there. And of course, the draft will certainly have something to say about that as well. Okay, ones to watch. Who are we looking at? You actually just mentioned the top lane. Let me continue on that thought then. It's really going to be Damwon's top lane that is going to be the driver of Damwon's quick success, so to speak. They still have a chance, obviously, if Naguri doesn't have the best day, but the better he is, the higher that percentage gets.
Yeah, it really does come down to a thing of if Naguri just plays Lulu or Malphite or Ornn and they just handshake and say, okay, Naguri, just play safe top lane, I think Damwon just 3-0s. Like if Naguri doesn't take on the challenge of Bean and says, you want to be the top, you want to be the Chad top lane, or you want to be the best top lane in the world, you want to be that a Jax player or the Gangplank player, let me pick Kennen. Let me pick the Fiora. Let me pick the Camille against you. Let's go 1v1. Let's duel in the top lane. Let's have a little bit of skirmishing. If that happens, it opens the door for Suning. It opens the door for, level 1s, level 2s, level 3, very early action, getting Naguri down to an 0-1, 0-2 power spike, as you want to call it. But I really do think if Naguri just says, I'm going to play Lulu all day. I'm going to play Ornn. Ben, you can play your champions. You can try to, get early advantages. I don't care. We're going to win on the other side of the map. We're going to play our way. We're going to take over in the jungle with Beryl and Canyon. I think he's 3-0 because I do think Canyon, even though I do love Style of Me, I do think SOFM is an amazing jungler. He's a world-class jungler. He's the second best jungler at Worlds. The best jungler in the world is Canyon. He is the monster. He is the mountain that Suning will have to climb over to win this tournament. They will not win if they cannot beat Canyon. I do not see a way. What I've seen from Canyon the last 40, 50 games, he is on a hot streak, and this meta fits him better than anyone else in the world. And they're going to have to ban him out. They're going to have to ban out his Nidalee. They're going to ban out his top champions. But it's really hard to ban out Canyon. As we've seen, teams have tried. Hasn't happened so far.
So my player to watch is on the Suning side, and that's Huang Fang, somebody who has really made headlines at Worlds so far. Look no further than the Jhin ult in the opponent's base with turrets up in the quarterfinals. He has the most kills at Worlds with 67. He has a fantastic story that you actually have tweeted at length in the past as well. His life story is incredible for him to even get to this point. But now when we're looking at him as a player, what a journey for somebody who's very new in his professional League of Legends career to now have this opportunity. This is what I love to see, Tyler. I love seeing now you're at the grand final. You're at the biggest stage you could possibly compete at, and you get it early in your career. How do you internalize that? How do you use that to your advantage? You haven't been here before. You don't have to worry about any stress of past failures or successes. Nothing colors you. All that matters is this moment here. And he has been a very successful bot laner this so far at Worlds, but now he's facing the tandem of Ghost and Beryl. So why don't we transition that into the bot lane matchup, which hasn't really been a focus too much in this meta at Worlds, but let's talk about it here because of Huang Fang and he's my player to watch. So let's talk about it.
Well, I do think the bottom lane is much more set up to be, the unlock support, Sword Hour and Beryl going into the jungle, tag teaming with their junglers, taking over vision, making those skirmishes happen, fighting around Rift Herald, locking down that side of the map and leaving Ghost and Huang Fang to kind of just, play safe on the Jhin, on the Ashe, on, the Caitlyn if need be. But as you said, this is Worlds. This is World. I could talk about, how Damwon theoretically on paper should 3-0, how, there's no way Canyon can lose, but this is sport, Arda. We've seen from the Miracle on Ice to, all these amazing sporting feats, and it really just comes down to one day. This is a best of 5, but it's one day. There's 5 games of League of Legends, and the game it's wild. There's dragons and there's heralds, and there's so many different variables that one slip up, one tiny mistake, one ghost kind of stepping forward, stepping on a trap while Huang Feng's playing Caitlyn, a first blood in the bomb lane that snowballs SOFM, gives him full reign in the jungle, and Suning gets a 1-0 lead, and they just go from there. The momentum's on their side, and they take a 3-0 victory that no one's ever seen coming. So while I do think that Damwon should be favored, I think Huang Feng does have a chance to make himself known. We didn't think of him as the star player going into their quarterfinal, but he took over versus Loken, got solo kills, took over that series. The offers on the table for all 10 players, Arda. All 10 of these players say any of these 10 players could take over the final and make it theirs. If one player has the day of their life, if they have the series of their life, they can will their team to victory on either side. And that's what makes the grand finals so great. If one player just has the game, you don't have to be great tomorrow. You don't have to be great the rest of the tournament. But if you're great for one day, if you're great for these 5 games, and you have the career-defining series, you can be a world champion. And they've got to this point, and they're both world-class teams. And even though I do think Damwon should be favored in almost every single category, Suning is not to be underlooked. And if Damwon does overlook them, they might be upset.
Many people did not overlook Suning in our ESPN League of Legends predictor. 52% of players did pick Damwon to win the series, but they picked the series victory with a 3-2 series scoreline. It has been free to play, by the way, ESPN.com/League of Legends predictor. For the thousands of you that joined us, thank you very much for doing so. It was also free through the trophy tab of the ESPN Fantasy app. 52%, Tyler. So there was a lot of faith in Suning going into this final. They basically knew what you were saying there. Exactly what you said there. And they were like, you know what? We believe in miracles. We believe in David. So we're going to give our faith there. 52% is a pick'em. That's a pick'em.
I do think, if you are looking this in just the context of the World Championship, you're just looking at what Suning did to Top Esports, the #1 seed of China. They 3-1 them. The same thing happened with G2 and Damwon. That was 3-1 too. I think if you look more into it, if you look really deep into it, you see that Damwon does have a lot of, favorite matchups. Top Esports wasn't at their best to begin with. Damwon kind of trolled their 1-game loss to G2 with the Fiora pick and the Silas versus TF flip of the matchup where Showmaker wanted to kind of get something over in camps. Like it's such a difficult matchup to see because I can see a reason why people are picking Suning, right? Like they've been so impressive all season long, all tournament long, and at every quarter. I'll have to say I've been pretty much bang on almost every single prediction thus far in the bracket stage. G2, I had Damwon in the finals, winning the finals. I had Top Esports in the semifinals, losing the semifinals. The one team I've not been bang on, the one team that's continually has surprised me throughout my pick'ems has been Suning. They've been the team that I've not been able to pick. I've always been picking against them, and every time I pick against them, they win. So maybe again, with me saying it's a 3-0 Damwon, Suning, then their last laugh will be the David that topples the Goliath. But it's so hard. Like in my heart of hearts, I still see that 3-0, but I want it to be something closer.
So before we go, we'll give you a couple final thoughts. I have 2 final thoughts for you, actually. The first thing is, don't forget, we will be back today, 11 a.m. Eastern, at the conclusion of the grand finals when a champion has been crowned. Come back to Twitch or YouTube /ESPN eSports, and Tyler and I will break down the grand final and maybe give a little preview to what's to come in free agency. And Tyler... Speaking of free agency, my man, we get to do it all over again because we do have officially now, we can announce that our Rift Rewind free agency show shall return for a second year. That's going to be November 16th with a 6 p.m. Eastern start. We're going to be on for several hours live. Fion's going to be working the phones. Jacob's going to be in the wolf den throwing wolf bombs. Who knows what's going to happen? If you saw it last year, you know exactly what to expect, and you can expect more of the same this year as well. Our Rift Rewind free agency special, November 16th at 6 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be pretty bland, Tyler. Not too many moves to speak of, right?
Team Liquid making an NA super team. What's going on with G2? Where's Chovy going to go? Naguri and Barrel, who are in this final, are free agents. Yeah. So I'm sure those guys won't have any offers for them after today. It's going to be a wild one. And, last year we had 2 hours of free agency. So, and what's better than 2 hours, Arda?
Multiple hours, several hours, at least
four hours,
6,
5,
8,
7. Who knows? If it goes crazy, if Jacob will not end the show if his lines are on fire, it'll be a 30-hour show with just Jacob in his room going crazy. He'll grow a beard during the show. He will not leave if the show is continually.
Oh, that's a great idea. Imagine having a side by side. It's here's hour 0 and here's hour 25.
It's gonna be wild.
Funny. Here, very quick, actually, as a teaser, do you think either of these teams, Suning or Damwon, they all have expiring contracts on their starting rosters? Do you think either of them stay together going into next year? Just quick thought on that.
It's so hard. That's such a difficult question.
Is it?
LPL teams are looking at Naguri already. Naguri's going to get a multi-million-dollar offer from China, guaranteed. The question is, does he take it? Does he take it? Does he stay there a year? Does he do the Chovy and turn down the bag to play with, his friends and possibly the greatest team of all time? If Damwon wins tonight and they can stay together for next year, who's beating them? Who's beating them in anywhere? Who's going to beat this team unless the meta drastically shifts? Mm-hmm. And even then, as I said, this team can play every single style I've seen in League of Legends. So I don't think this is a meta-dependent team. I think they might be the best in this meta, but I think in other metas, they're still a world championship team. So if you're Naguri coming out tonight, if you can win the championship, I think it's very hard to say you were leaving a chance to be a dynasty possibly if you leave Damwon. But, $5 million plus sounds pretty great too. So who the hell knows?
Not bad, right?
I wouldn't mind that $5 million to play on an LPL team. That'd be pretty cool.
You know what team beats that team, Tyler? A TSM with Chovy. That's
TSM Chovy, guys.
See what I'm doing here?
TSM Chovy, baby.
A little bit of the clickbait right here. That's what I'm doing right here. Just clicking those keyboards.
TSM has the money. They have the money. If they want to, I can tell you that NA teams have looked at Chovy. NA teams have looked at Chovy, but Chinese teams as well have deeper pockets and probably a better chance to win Worlds than North America. Maybe North America has to prove themselves first. Or they can just offer a $30 million contract and $30 million for Chovy.
Why not? We're going to wind things down on the pre-show. So just again, we are back at 11 a.m. today after the finals to break it all down. So please join us again. The other thing I urge you to do is follow Tyler and tweet him throughout the final at Fion on Fire, because you may or may not know this, but Tyler actually has a vote on who the game's MVP will be. So if you want to sway his vote, tweet him. Let him know.
Yeah, I get to vote for Finals MVP. I am one of the voices to anoint our Finals MVP. I've done this the last 2 years. TN in 2018. Last year, TN was 2019. Ning in 2018. Let's see if Bjerg's going to win 2020, guys. If you see that rogue, if you see a Bjergsen vote thrown in, I'm not gonna say it's me. It could be me though, but I'm gonna take it very seriously as always. I will vote for who I think is the best player on the day. I think Canyon is if I had a bet on who I think will win MVP today, I do think it'll be Canyon. I do think it'll be a 3-0 Damwon. I do think Canyon will be MVP. What's your prediction, Arda?
My prediction is that we see the upset of upsets, and Suning are your world champions in a hotly contested 3-2 series. So not only do we get the 5-game banger that we all want, but we also get David slaying Goliath and Suning with the new king of the castle, Huan Fang, establishing themselves as the team to beat and the best team in the world. I'd love to see it. And hey, it's out there now, so let's see what happens. But listen, once again, we are back 11 a.m. Eastern today, right here. So come back and join us as soon as Worlds are done, because we will be here to break it all down. But for now, we got to go. Enjoy Worlds, enjoy the opening ceremonies, and we'll see you at 11 a.m.
When does NA play again, Arda?